Hey, what's going on? This is Influence, and today I have the Toyeezy YW2302. I don't know what it's called. I'll probably put it, it'll probably be in the title. I'm not sure if I can find the name because everything on the box is in Chinese. Par for the course. Basically, it's a little bit better than some of the other ones, I guess. So the transformation is a little bit easier. There's not as many moving parts. It is interesting. Arms are probably the most complicated, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So let's get into it.
Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube.
Here we are, and see his face up close. Looks similar to all the other faces. So let's just get into accessories real quick. He has this shield here that does clip on right there. It works better on this arm, so you can't really put it on this. You can put it on this arm if you want, and it'll be more in the front, but you can't really put it on the side on that arm because of this. You have this thing which goes, it does store here, and it also goes underneath him to hook on to the stand. So that's cool that they did that and gave a little bit of storage, but it's nice, and it folds up to become, you do gotta take this off. I'm gonna put that underneath there for now. So it does fold up to become the gun handle for the giant robot, which is nice. I mean, it's nice that they thought about it. It seems like a cash grab because when they first announced all this, it wasn't it was just going to be 5, and then all of a sudden it was 6. I think it was just going to be 5. I don't even remember 5. But you also have this piece that's kind of like his gun. Let's move him to the side. You saw how it went on his arm. Actually doubles as the ship parts forming piece for the ship. And it can also go on the back of him in the same manner. So if you want like a little jetpack, move this out. Move this out. He has these 2 swords that do come out also. Just pull them out there, but then you can put them down here. They do store to stay hidden, but you can put them down here for the jetpack, and you kind of space it in between these like that. More like that. Put this up here. You see how it is spaced so it doesn't go anywhere. Then you can separate them and bring in your robot. You see in the back, he has these peg holes. So you can just, and it's on this arm. Now, all this stuff is super tight, but you have that, you stick it on there. Then you can stick this side on here after you pull this up kind of. And you can have these situated any way you want. And then he's like this, and you can see back here it's kind of like his jetpack, I guess. He can also hold these. I didn't really show that. Just show that real quick. It doesn't have a peg or anything. It's just his arm. You have that. He has some knives. But yeah, you can store this up in here like this and make sure the handle's flush. There's like little notches up here that these notches go kind of move to. Put that like that, and then it's the boat thing. So we'll get to that later. Also, of course, you have a stand. He still comes with the big giant stand, which is great that they included this. You can store these under here in the many places that have storage. These are used as shields on the bigger robots, but it's kind of silly for him. As you can see, he's super small compared to the rest of them, and they still have the things for the ship to stay on here. So that's cool if you want it in ship mode, and this doesn't stay really well, but I think it stays better on this thing right here. Yeah, it's more tight on there, so you can leave that like that if you want. Got the stickers, of course. It goes on the stand. You got the card here, and you got the instructions. Instructions were okay. There's really no videos, so I used the instructions this time, and they were fine. And we have the box. Box is nice, smaller. You see on this side it has the ship. Everything's in Chinese, I believe. So there's not much to read. There's a lot of stuff on there, but you can put the ship like this, so you don't have, since it's so much smaller, you can have the gun on here in gun mode, which it just looks like a ship with some extra bits. We're going to compare him to some other bots. So let's bring in one of his brethren that I have in robot mode. And ironically, this is the one that he mostly resembles in ship mode. So you can see exactly how small he is compared to the rest of the team. And this is smaller than the big guy, the torso, which I have him in torso mode, so I'm not going to compare him. But yeah, you can just see how much smaller he is, because he's a gun. He's a gun for the big robot. And just for kicks, let's bring in a masterpiece aerial bot. And again, it just shows how massive, or how small he is compared to how massive the other guys are. Ooh, let's get to articulation. Articulation is pretty cool. It is like really tight until you get to certain points. So his head goes down about that much, goes up about that much, and spins around, but it's really tight. It does catch back here a little on these little, they're pegs for transformation, but I mean, it catches, it can go around. You just have to be careful and move it back and forth as you're moving around. I'm not going to move it around because, of course, I don't want to mess it up too much. Arms go all the way around. It does have a little butterfly where you can get like this, but this is in the way. Kind of covers up the chest and the hole in the chest and all of that. You can go up way more than 90 degrees, and you could probably get up even more if you move that out the way. So you can almost go all the way up for that joint. The bicep swivel here, right here. Then he has a double jointed elbow that gets you more than 90, but not as much as you would think. But you do get more than 90 with that. Hands spin all the way around. They don't go in and out. They do have individually articulated fingers. You can see here. Oh, actually, yeah, no. The first finger's articulated with 2 knuckles, and the second one is all on 1 knuckle. I didn't realize that. I thought it was all articulated. But then you have a thumb on a ball joint that's not articulated at all. So let's close this up because we're gonna have to close it up for transformation. So I like to keep it closed. Waist. He has a tight waist swivel. Oh, and you got to move these side things just in case you forget. But it's still tight. That's not why it's tight. And he has an ab crunch. And that ab crunch does come in handy during transformation. But as you can see, has skirts. All this stuff is really tight. I think it's too tight, some of it. He has swivel. I mean, I guess it's better tight than loose sometimes, but especially in the legs. But you can see he gets the full splits, like parallel to the ground. And if you move it out a little bit, because this stuff will get caught on the crotch, he can get fully up, and he doesn't get fully back because of all this. Now let me see if I can move this out the way and let him get. No. So that's his articulation limitation, basically. Front is full, back is barely. All this stuff up here you can manipulate if you want it a little different. Like you can move these things You got to move these out the way. This is all like the tower and stuff on the ship mode. But he does have swivel, which is super tight. You can see while I'm moving it, if I'm conveying it, how tight it is. It's just moving like that. Double jointed knee that gets you good ways. Can hit the backpack, but the backpack's small and not much back here. And it's on certain swivel and hinges. You can move it up and down easily. But here's a double joint. Now feet are a little weird. It's super tight, so you can get a rocker about like that. You can get a rocker outward a little bit. If you move this out, well, not a little bit, you can get it a lot. Now where it's loose is going front and back. And again, I'm not sure. I'm hoping that pin that they used is metal and not going to have issues like the last one. You got these little covers here that you can move up and down to kind of cover up all this. But with this going like this, it kind of gets out of sorts and can fall over. Everything else is super tight, and where you need it, the feet, is not. So you can see he'll move back. Let me hold this. He'll move back and forth like this, and sometimes he'll move back and fall over because it's just the way the feet are. But you can move the foot all the way down like that. You can move it up. It's on. You got a heel spur that you can move down if you need to try to get more. Let me see if I can show it right. Yeah, you move it down here, or you can move it up. All these joints are super tight, so they're hard to maneuver without messing with everything else. And that's pretty much it. So now let's get the transformation. So let's tackle the arms first. You want to lift this up over here. You see this little split right there. Lift that up. Then you move this in. Now after you move that in, then you want to kind of straighten this arm up and accordion it so the fist is under this metal part. Now you close this. It's not going to close all the way until you have this in the proper, like I was trying to get it closed forever, and it's just not going to close until you have to move this up and flip it up, and then it closes all the way. I guess it clears some of the mess in here, and that's that. So then you want to pull this up, and you kind of just want to get this situated because it's going to be a weird mechanism. You see that? Pull that back like that, and just leave it like that for now. Then do the other arm. Again, like I said, accordion it up, and when you move this over, it's gonna be a gap there until you move everything up and around. Now you want to try to you want to take this out. All this is connected to the arms, and you move this down like that. Then you take this is like in the chest, kind of bent. You got to get this out of here. Move this down too, sorry, right here. Make sure this is straight. If it's not straight, this panel won't come down right. You even move this stuff out a little bit, then that panel comes down all the way, and you can move this out like this. Eventually you move all this stuff, then moving that out, it gets space for the head. So then you can just move the head around and down and in there, and then flip this back up, so you just got all this cleared. So then you can maneuver and you can work with all of that. Now this being out, you get that straight out like that because you can maneuver it now, and spin this down like that, and then you're going to flip this over and around and under like this. Now when you got it like that, you see how that closes. That's what I was talking about, but I was sitting there forever, and then it fits right into this little section here, just like that. Creates that little straight blockage Then you move this around here, and there you go. Just like that. Do the other one the same way. Move this up on that shoulder, move this down so you can move this around, get it together here. There you go. That closes greatly. Greatly. And then you move this around, flip that, and there you go. You have that. Move this like this just to prepare. Move this. This is tight and I hate it. Well, it's better if you move it that way. Moving it the other way, it feels like it's gonna break because it's so tight. And all this stuff is kind of loose until you put it all together. Turn this now. It tells you to turn this 180 in the directions, and it does help. I didn't know why you did that, but it does help. So I just do it now just because. And this right here, I get this situated too. You just move it around and accordion it so it is together. Bring this in, put it on there, and there you go. And it's the front of the ship. This isn't quite as flawless as I need it to be, but there we go. These double hinges are kind of tight, but you see how that goes. And then it's gonna go like that to be flush. So you can just leave that like this. And now move this up like that. Move this up here like that. Get this together. Move this down because you want that out the way. Once you move this like this, you can move these all the way around. Move that like this. Move these all the way around. And then you get enough room in order to move this up. And it's on a double hinge. Just want to move this up and hinge it around. It goes like that. Move this up and hinge it around. And then move these down like this where you eventually need it. You can move that around. There you go. You figure it out like as you're moving it. You can tell it's kind of intuitive. Then you just get all this stuff situated. It just has a bunch of pegs. Get that done. Get that done. There you go. Then you can move this up here. Kind of move it together like that. Then push this up. There's some pegs here. Pegs here. Peg holes here. And you just get them in. And try to get this arm flush up here. And there you go. And that really solidifies it. Yeah, it does tell you to move it like this. But eventually you can see, and I was confused. I'm like, all the stuff is back here, so it has to move over. But you'll see it's some things that you have to do to get out the way, or you have to have it out the way to do it. And it's only out the way if it's like this. So the crotch will be to the back of this. And then you start to get the crotches, the stuff together here. So besides a couple parts, there's the crotch here that you got to open up, and then this gets and you got to open this up. This isn't as tight, but I mean, it opened itself. But then you get all this stuff together. Like I said, it's kind of intuitive. Move this up, move this around, and this goes down like that. Move it around, it'll go down like that. This will move up. It's pegged in, but you got to move it up. It'll fall down 20 times. And then you move the legs, kind of get these out the way. Move the legs up like that on both sides. Move the legs up, and then you can make sure this is out the way, and you kind of move this down. Now it's easier to do when it's this way. That's one of the main reasons why they tell you to move it like that. Another reason you kind of want this out of the way is you want to move this around too. So move these things. They're on ball joints. One, the ball joint is here. The other one, the ball joint is up here. You want to move that one because it's just easier. And then you move that like that, and then you can spin this around. And I kind of prematurely did this, but you have room. So you can spin that around, move these things out all the way, and there you go. You just got that ready, and then you can move this anywhere you want. Do that later. Now spin this around all the way. Then it's just a series of tabs and things that you got to get together. So move this. It's like pads, shin pads. You move that down, and then you accordion it up. Accordion this up. This down here, you want to get all together. Like I said, this is kind of hard because these things will fall down. But if you put this underneath where it needs to be, like that, they don't fall down no more. Then you can work with all of this. Already did this. Let me see. Can move this up here. These right here, you move. Make sure the leg's straight. You can see where it goes. Like I said, it's really intuitive. You just gotta have it situated in the right manner. There you go. Move this out. Situate that. There we go. This, you have this shin. You want to move all the way like that. Move this down. Pull this out like that. And then this is going to move in like this. And it barely fits, but it does fit. So you just got to have it in the right way. Then you can move this down like this. Situate the, this is tight and it's hard. You got to move that up there like this. And there's a peg right there that pegs into this. So once you get this together, you can move this up, and there's the helipad. And then you kind of get all of this where you need it. Gotta goes in there like this. And I think it's like an over under, but you got to have this exactly right too. And it gets a little difficult right here, a little frustrating. But you see, you can do it, and then you kind of try to get this together right. Like that. And then you flip this over and it pegs in right here. There we go. Pegs in right there. Same thing over here. Just move all this stuff. You can do this now to try to make it a little easier. It is hard. Make sure you flip the cover up. Flip this all the way up. Move this down, showing it from a different angle. Then you move this and you can see it barely fits, but as long as it's up where it needs to be, it will fit. Flip that back. I do like this transformation. This transformation is really, you can close this too while I'm talking, but this transformation is not hard and it's kind of intuitive, and I really like it. Like, it's fun. It's not as difficult as the other guys. Of course, it's a smaller figure. This is the only piece that really gets frustrating, and that's user error. and it's solid. You see how I dropped it and nothing came apart. Then you just tab all this stuff together. Move this down. It's gonna tab in here. Tab this together. As long as this is right, it should go together how it's supposed to. Right here, I forgot to move. Pull that out. Move that around. Then you situate that, and then this a tab in there to kind of keep it solidified. This a tab on that side. This a tab on that side. Move this. This goes down like that. It's the crotch piece, and then you can move this accordion it in to cover up that. Kind of get it situated. There we go. So it hides that little thing, and this can turn as well. That's really how it's lined up to be. These things you can get wherever you want, and then there's two pegs here that tab into here so it doesn't move. And I'm almost done, I believe. You want to move this down, just the rudders. Attention to detail is cool. Oh, okay. I was about to say this isn't closing because I don't have this right. I still don't have it 100% correct, but here we are. So we're done, I believe. And the ship is really nice. It's a really nice ship. Has a gun up here. The gun is a little loose, but you can manipulate it. You can get it to stay up as long as you don't touch it. It does move. You can move it up a little bit to stay up. You got these things here that move back and forth, so you can situate them where you want it. You got the radar up here. You got all of this. I like that all of this is on permanently and can stay on. And you don't have this. The other ones you had to put them on and take them off. Some of the pieces were peg holes and all of that. But as you can see, I don't have this correct. But you can get it. The first time I did it, I had it correct. Not much to say. Got the helipad back here. It's nice looking ship as usual. And yeah, that's what we have. I can turn it to the gun mode. And I'm glad I didn't get this together, because the gun mode, you have to split this apart in order to really get it. So pull this out. I'll put it back together. Move this down. Move this down. If I can ever get it out. Move this down. Now, right there is where you're going to stick the handle. So you take your shield, fold it down like this. This is the back. So you take it like this and you stick it in here. It's really tight, really secure, I can say. Then all this is supposed to go back together. I don't know why it's not. There we go. This right here gets messed up, but what you're gonna do, you just leave this back and you can close this back up. Now the front, you can take the ship part off. Got to move it down, take this off, move this back up. Then you take this and move this out. You it kind of turns into like a bow. So you move this up here, so it looks like it's firing out the front. Again, over here, turn this into like a bow. Move this up here. There we go. It's like a notch there that you put in between the other two notches. And you can put this back together. Move that gun forward. And then you just stick this right here on. I don't know why I moved that back up, because it's going to have to go down in order to stick this on here. Then you just put it up just like it's on the ship. And there you go. And here's the gun. So just basically a boat with some shooting stuff out of it. I guess is what it is. I mean, you can kind of fan mode it if you want it. I think you could. Can you move these? No, you can't. I thought maybe you could move them down if you wanted it more sleeker than anything. But and that's pretty much it for that. All right, so if you enjoyed this review, thanks for watching, and please do everything you need to do for YouTube, and I appreciate it. Peace.
You know, life ain't over, life ain't over, life ain't over. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want it.